what ancient manuscripts is the King James based on?
It's based on the Textus Receptus, where the newer versions are, a lot of them are based on the Alexandrian texts that were in Alexandria, Egypt. There are some issues, of course, with the Alexandrian text, such as the Book of Mark, that just ends. It doesn't have the resurrection or anything in it, where the Textus Receptus does.
Yeah, the thing about the Textus Receptus, it's a great manuscript. There's about three, just essentially three that translators use, and Textus Receptus, one of them, the majority text, and the text that Mike mentioned, the Alexandrian. And so different translators use different ones. The Textus Receptus was compiled by Erasmus, and Erasmus had the least amount of existing manuscripts to pull from. That's the one thing about the Textus Receptus. It's a great manuscript, but he had the least number of existing manuscripts at that time, during the time he lived, which was like the 17th century, somewhere in there. And so later, the majority text is called the majority text because it pulls from the majority of extant manuscripts or existing manuscripts, and they all agree. There's very few tiny nuances might be found, but no great deviation in what is there at all. And the Alexandrian does claim to use the two oldest manuscripts, Codex Sinaiticus and the Vaticanus. Now, those were the two oldest manuscripts. And interestingly, they don't have the last half of Mark 16. So there's a huge controversy about that, was Mark 16, the latter half, you shall cast out devils, you shall drink any deadly thing and it won't hurt you. All the things that we hear preached on so much these days, particularly amongst Pentecostal charismatic circles that believe in the existence of the gifts, as I do. There's this huge debate amongst scholars: was the latter half of Mark 16 added later? Did somebody, insert it after Mark was finished? So I don't know. I don't believe that, but it is a huge debate amongst Bible scholars. But those are the three. And if you're looking for solid manuscripts, majority text is good. The Textus Receptus is good. And aside from things like the deletion of the last half of Mark 16, I think that the Alexandrian is solid, except for issues like that. And I think Mark 16, the second half of Mark 16, is the most glaring of the issues with the Alexandrian text.